Hey everybody, it's Will from Garage Built Athlete. Welcome back to Garage Built Athlete headquarters. On today's video, it's going to be my honest review of the Nurecover Pod Pro, Pod Chiller, and the Tropic Pro Sauna. The ultimate recovery bundle is how it is sold.
Hey, let's go ruin this thing. Rolling through with the chrome and the gold. Yeah, you know what time it is. That country chrome wheel spin, rolling real clean. Got the ride that shine like a diamond ring. Chrome grill, big bills, that's how we do. Country boy flexing, that's the whole crew. Kicking back, recline, let the bass blow. Riding fast, my truck full of that glow. Country chrome, we shine, yeah, we burning bright. When the wheels hit the road, we light up the night.
Before we get into the review, it's important that if you are new here, make sure you do subscribe. And if you like this video, drop a like on it. Ask me any questions in the comments and I will get right back to you. I've had this set up now for 2 months. If you look back on the channel, you'll see me struggling with the chiller. So if you need to know how to set this up to get it to work properly, check that video out. You'll also see an unboxing and testing of the ceramic heater upgrade that you can get for the Tropic Pro Sauna. I'm going to be talking through my experience of using both of these bits of kit over the last 60 days, and hopefully that will help you make your mind up as to whether or not you want to get involved in the home sauna and ice bath world. So let me take you through a couple of things that you might need to know. First up is the cost. This whole setup, so the sauna, the steamy unit, the ceramic heater, the chiller and the ice bath cost me £704 of my own actual money. If you want to save a bit of money, hit the link in the description below. We've got a discount code. If you use that, you'll get some money off anything at Nurecover and we'll get a little kickback too. So I think that's fairly good value for money, but there's a few things that you need to consider on top of the initial outlay. The first thing is they cost money to run. So you will use more electricity because you are running a sauna and running a chiller unit. In the winter time, it's not going to be as much money for the chiller because the ambient temperatures are going to be lower, so you're going to have to run that for less time to get it down to where you want it to. Currently, where I am, it's about 15 degrees C, and I chill my ice bath down overnight and get in it first thing in the morning. So from say 10 o'clock in the evening, I'll stick the chiller on, it will run all night and I can get it down to around about 5.5 to 6 degrees C in the morning. That's costing about 70 to 80 pence every time I want to do that. So keep that in mind. If you're going to be using that every day, you're looking at about 25 quid a month extra on electricity. And that's running it all night. So it's a decent 9 hours runtime with the chiller unit. At its core, it's an aquarium chiller. So if you have an aquarium that needs to be that cold, God knows what you're putting in it, but you're looking at about the same costs. Now the sauna you don't have on for as long unless you are a psychopath, because for me, I want to be in that sauna between 10 and 15 minutes, maybe push to 20 if I'm feeling like I need an extra good sweat. The time it takes to heat up the sauna is kind of the inverse of what's going on with the chiller. So the higher the ambient temperature, the less time it's going to take for the sauna to heat up. Now, Nurecover reports that the ceramic heater will get up to temperatures of 85 degrees C. The thermometer that I have in there is an ice bath one, so it only goes up to 50, but it is exceeding 50 degrees C in there because it's topping out the thermometer and going over the top. So I know it's at least 50 degrees. The colder the ambient temperature is outside, the longer that it will take to heat up using that ceramic heater. So recently it's been taking roughly 15 to 20 minutes heat up time, and then I'm in there for another 15 and 20 minutes. So 40 minutes of usage. It's not really having a big impact on the electricity bill. I've not noticed anything substantial, not like the ice bath chiller overnight. So let's go conservative and say 20p. So say you want to use the sauna every day, or maybe there's a couple of you in the house. That's going to be looking at A total cost, sauna and ice bath, every single day, £30 on electricity. And that's before the price hikes. So you might be sitting there thinking, I could probably get a gym membership for 30 quid a month with access to saunas. Maybe not so much the ice baths, but definitely the saunas. And that is an option that you can absolutely consider. One of the benefits of having your own setup is you can use it any time of day or night. You haven't got to drive anywhere and it's right there. You're the only person who's sweating all over it, doing whatever you need to do in it. And you haven't got to share it with some very uncomfortable strangers. Next thing we want to think about is the size. Yes, guys, size matters. And I'm not just talking about the size in terms of how much room it takes up. As you can see, this is quite big. This is quite big. And this is quite big. So the area that I have for my entire setup is 2.5 meters by 1.25 meters. And you're also going to need at least 190 centimeters, 1.9 meters, for clearance and the head height in the sauna. A couple of other things you're going to need to consider before you get into any of this. Where your plug sockets are, because the chiller and the steamer and the ceramic heater all run on electricity. So you're going to need to be able to power it. If you want it down the bottom of the garden, brilliant. You're going to need to run power down there, which is why I have extension leads and plugs set up around the place. Quick top tip, if you didn't know, electricity and water do not mix, so just be careful with that. The other consideration on size is how big are you? Because the smaller you are, the more room you will have in your ice bath and in your sauna. I'm just under 6 foot. I'm around about 77, 78 kilos, and I need to tuck my knees, cross my legs when I get in the ice bath. Almost a bit like I'm meditating. So when I'm sat like that, I can get the water all the way up over my shoulders and in there. It's definitely not relaxing in the bath style with the Pod Pro for me. But if you're a slightly smaller person, you might be able to stretch out. The Pod Pro itself can hold up to 400 litres of water. Now, Nurecover say that this can accommodate people up to 6'7" tall and weighing up to 113 kilos. That's a big unit. I have my doubts. I think that you would maybe be up to your nips in that one. So just be mindful of that. If you are north of 6 foot tall, you might want to consider going for a larger ice bath. You can get some really nice longer style ones where you can really stretch out. They do cost a bit more money and take up a lot more space, but if you really want to get full immersion in that water and you're tall and big, think about it. Let's take a closer look at the Pod Pro. Okay, quick demo of the unit itself. I just cleaned out all the water the other day and made a right mess out here, so make sure you position it somewhere where you don't really mind if the floors are going to get wet, because that took some doing. But what we have is the pod itself has got an insulated outer. In comparison to the previous ice pod that I had from Nurecover, this has got multiple layers, so a bit more insulation, and also the bottom has more insulation, so it's actually more comfortable to sit in and it retains the cold better. Comes with this cover and the lid to stop any mess and nastiness getting in. Now, this is currently 8 degrees C. I used it first thing this morning when it was just under 6 degrees C. So actually, it's kept the cold in really well, because it's now late afternoon, early evening, same day, and it's only gone up 3 degrees. Granted, it is not warm today. It's actually 16 degrees C in Garage Built Athlete headquarters. You'll notice that I also have an ozone generator, which is designed to keep the water cleaner for longer. You can pick these up super cheap on eBay or Amazon, but if you want to go through one of the ice bath companies, you're looking at between 60 and 100 pounds. I think I paid about 15 pounds for mine. It just keeps the water a little bit fresher, so I'm cleaning it out less, which is quite a big job. Okay, so that's the tour of the Pod Pro. Now we have a bit of a close-up look on the chiller unit itself. Really easy to operate. You've got an on-off switch at the back. Which starts not only the chiller, but also the pump and filter. So you've got the chiller being fed from the bottom of the Pod Pro. The water comes round, gets pulled through a filter by a pump, which is also powered through the chiller unit itself. Comes into the chiller unit, circulates round, gets nice and cold, and is pumped back out the top into the top tube of the ice bath. And you can see that in action. So the pump actually is doing a really good job of getting that water circulating. It's powerful enough, and when you get it set up right, it isn't too loud, which I think is important if you've got something in your house or in your garage or in your garden. You don't want to be annoying the neighbours too much. Let me show you whilst we're having a close-up of the Ozone Generator. So there you can see oxygenating the water and making it a bit cleaner, a bit nicer smelling, for fresher for longer. On the front of the machine, really nice and easy. You've got the temperature reading 8.4 at the minute. You can set it, I've got it set to 4 degrees, so the chiller would turn off when the water reaches 4 degrees, but the pump would continue to work. You can adjust that up and down on the front, however you like to, and it will just continue to work until it reaches that desired temperature. Set, and away you go. It remembers that temperature, so all you have to do is turn it off and on at the back. Now, I said this was my honest review, and I will be honest with you, this thing was a pain in the ass to set up. The instructions were not as good as they could have been, and I've fed that back to Nurecover. And also the quality of these hoses, they could definitely be better. So it's plastic fittings. The hoses are too flexible, if anything. They need a bit of strength in there to stop the kinks. And if you are interested in the experience I had with setting it up, go back on the channel and look for the Pod Chiller unboxing, test and setup video, and I'll go through the whole thing, including how long it takes to chill down the water and mistakes that I made that you can avoid for a simple and effective setup of your chiller unit. Okay, last thing that you might want to consider before you buy one of these IcePod Pros is drainage. You do not want to be bailing this thing out because there's 400 litres of water in it. So when you come to cleaning it, which will be, if you keep the water clean and you keep yourself clean, you can make it last for weeks. But when you do want to clean it out, when it starts to get a bit murky, make sure you have easy access to a drain, and that may involve you getting some additional piping so that you can attach it to the taps and piping it out to, I don't know, a garden or a drain out the side of your house. I, quite luckily, behind this gate, have an outside covered drain that I can just pipe the water straight out to. With the ice bath, you do get some drainage hoses. They're not very long, so much so that I've attached 2 of mine together from the previous one and the new one. But that's what you get as standard. It's about 70 centimeters. So yeah, if you've got an old one, duct tape them together. Other tapes are available. I think this was Gorilla Tape actually. So Gorilla Tape, if you're out there, there's a shout out to you because you're pretty good. Well done. On the subject of keeping the water cleaner for longer, I have got some other videos on the channel about that, so go back and check them out. But a couple of things that you can do, like I've mentioned, Ozone Generator is one. If you're into it, chlorine is another. But the biggest tip is really keep yourself clean. So don't get in it when you're like gross and sweaty, because it'll make the water gross and sweaty. Make sure you're clean before you jump in. But despite the teething problems that I had with the Pod Chiller, which were considerable, I'm actually really happy with how it performs. It saved me so much time and effort with freezing bottles of water and rotating them around and faff getting in and out of the freezer, all those bottles of water and drying them off, that has been a real big win for me. Now, all I do in the morning when I'm ready for the ice bath, so I come down, I switch the pump off, and I get straight in. So much easier. It's super important for me with anything like this, doing anything hard, that you take out any resistance that you can. Make it easy and you're much more likely to do it. That's why I have the ice bath in the conservatory. If it was raining, would I want to go out and get in an ice bath? No, I really wouldn't. Snow, cold, wind, no thank you. Which is odd because I'm getting into something incredibly cold and wet anyway. That's a thinker. So having it inside and having the chiller unit now has just made it that much more straightforward for me to get in and get my ice bath on. Okay, that's enough Ice Pod Pro talk. What about this sauna? It's getting cold. Ice baths, you love them or you hate them. Saunas, I think more people can get on board with. Just the idea of sitting there nice, hot, especially in the winter. Oh, lovely. So let's check out the Tropic Pro sauna. It's a bit of a squeeze back there, so bear with me. Okay, the Tropic Pro sauna. There's two options that you can have to heat this thing up. The first is the steam sauna. It's pretty much a kettle with a tube on it, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So just here you can see I've got my steamer unit set up, and we can turn him on. You turn it on the side, it's got an on-off button and then a power button. And you can see there that 45 is for minutes, and then the 9 is for, it says gear, but that's the power. So you can power down, power up, you can time up, you can time down, and you can hear now it's just starting to fire up. So on setting 9, it will continually heat the water and boil the water. As you drop it down the gears, it will intermittently steam and heat that water up. The water flows from the pipe attached to the top through the bottom of the tent into a puck on the inside. So as you may be able to hear, the steamer unit is a little bit noisy, like having a kettle boiling. It starts to generate the heat pretty quickly and can get the tent up to a decent temperature in about 10 to 15 minutes. The timer on the front is really handy because you can just at a glance see how long it's been turned on for as it starts to count down. The unit itself is really easy to operate. You open the lid, fill it all the way up with water, put the lid back on, turn it on, and away you go. A couple of things to make sure, might sound obvious, make sure that there's enough room in between any hot pieces of the steamer unit and anything else. You don't want to be getting boiling hot water or anything melted on that, and it does tend to bubble up and spill in the water as well. So just be happy that you've got maybe something underneath it to protect the floor or nothing too close either side. I mean, that is pretty close. You can see here there's not much room down there. That's starting to steam up nicely after about 3 minutes, and it will be sending that steam down that pipe and into the tent. And if you were paying attention earlier on, you'll notice that I said you'll need electricity to run everything that comes with the Ultimate Recovery Bundle. That is true, but one thing is battery powered rather than mains powered, and that is the red light. I'm a little bit dubious about red light and red light therapy. I've got nothing against it, but this to me is an LED strip. So if it's doing you some good, perfect. If not, at least it looks pretty, like Darth Vader's bathroom. You have this unit here, which has got 4 AA batteries in, attached to the LED. So if we turn him on, you get a lovely red glow. And you can see already, just after a couple of minutes, so we're on minute 4 now, that the steam is working really well inside. That's not on the outside, folks, it's all on the inside. And the tent itself is made from some insulated material, so it's black on the outside to obviously draw all the heat in, silver on the inside to reflect the heat back onto itself. It does keep the heat in pretty well whilst the steamer unit or the ceramic heater are on. Once you switch them off, it can dissipate quite quickly, especially if the outdoor temperature is a lot cooler. So just be ready for that when you get out. Make sure you've got something to wrap yourself in. Keep you nice and warm as you step out. So we can see here now that steamer is really working. If I just let that clear, I'll show you the inside. Oh, it's definitely steamy. Give me a little wipe. There you can see the steamy unit, and that's where it's all coming from. Also, we have a little chair, and in the corner there, the ceramic heater, which I won't put on at the same time. Close that back up. Give you a little wipe. Is that better? Now, to get in and out of the sauna, there's a large zip that runs all the way around the edge. It's not the greatest design, and since launching this one, they've released a new sauna which has a better door design on the front. Like, it would be much easier if this whole thing was just a door that you could step in and out of, and that's what they've done on the new one. So that's the steamer going. I'm going to switch that off now because I'm going to get in. Both the steamer and the ceramic heater also come with remote controls, which I've not used yet because I don't really need to. But that could be quite handy if you turn them off or on and you're 5 foot away. I don't know. Even with the flap being open for quite a while whilst I showed you around, that's got up to 25 degrees centigrade from 15, 16 earlier on. So still a way to go, but you can see that it does heat up quite quick. I said it before and I'll say it again, size really does matter. This is the Tropic Pro, which is bigger than the original. And the height of this unit is 6'3". The depth is 40 inches and the width is 48 inches. It's plenty big enough for one person to get in. You can get 2 if you're comfortable with that other person. Let me show you what I mean. I've got an okay amount of room, nothing to shout about. So here's all the way to the left, all the way to the right, front and back. I can almost extend my arms all the way forwards, but I've got a little bit of headroom there as well. Let me take you in properly. You get the full immersive experience. There you go. The red lights are pretty cool. I mean, they make a nice effect. They're on LED strip all the way around the edge. I could probably tidy that up. And it just shoots out through the zip out to the front there. So it's a little bit tricky to see how big it is in here, but you can see you've got a chair to sit on there and then a little bit of space to move around. And the absorbent mat on the floor is really handy. Just take that out, wring it out, get it back in. So last thing to show you is the ceramic heater. Here is the ceramic heater. It's nice and small. Again, I've done an unboxing, setup and test video of the ceramic heater previously on the channel. So if you want to check that out, see how it works, go back and watch that video. For now, I'll just quickly show you how to turn it on and what it's doing. Quite simple. There's an on-off button and that will just start heating up the space. It's got a temperature readout on the top, shown as an ambient temperature of 15. Immediately, that's hot. It's hot and it's blowing into my leg. You can hear, not very loud again. It's also got some functions where it can oscillate left and right, up and down, and both left, right, and up and down. So pretty cool stuff. There's a timer function and modes. You can have it on low or high. That's really all there is to it in terms of operating. Let me show you. No matter where you are, that heater is on top of you in here. That is a downside. You have to angle yourself or your heater away from your legs or your body a little bit, otherwise that constant heat blowing into you does get quite uncomfortable. You might be sitting there thinking, well, it's meant to be hot, Will, it's a sauna, but it's direct heat onto your leg, after a while that's just not nice. So angle it away from you slightly, get it to fill the space, fine. When I've tested it out before, I've found no real need for the oscillating function just yet. It heats up the space without needing to do that. And it does produce a lot of heat. Like I said, it takes the tent over 50 degrees C, which is a decent amount of heat that it produces for such a small unit. And that can double up as a heater for another room when you don't want to use the sauna. You know, it does get cold. Some places haven't got great heating, like my gaff. Warm up the bedroom. Similar kind of heat up time for the ceramic heater as for the steamer. Looking at 10-15 minutes to get to around about 45-50 degrees. Obviously depends on the outside temperature, but just make sure you turn it on a little bit ahead of when you want to use it and you'll be good to go. Something I wanted to point out, could be obvious to some, maybe not to others. This is a fabric tent with plastic tent poles. So if you put that heater too close to those poles, the chances are it's going to distort them. And if you have the fabric touching that heater, you're going to get yourself in a mess. So make sure that there's plenty of room around that heater, as much as you can get. I mean, you could see there's not much room in there, but just make sure you're not directly blasting the heat onto the poles or directly onto the fabric, and you should be fine. And because it's made of fabric and plastic poles, it's not particularly sturdy. However, it is very light to move. So if you need to get it out of the way, grab the ceramic heater out, unplug the steamer unit, and you can pick it up and move it around very, very easily. If you want to see how it's all put together, go back and check out the setup and unboxing video earlier on the channel. Wrapping things up then, I'm happy with the Ultimate Recovery bundle that I got, especially for the price. Currently on Nurecover's website, they are selling for £913. Obviously, use the link in the description below and you will get some money off. There's a code there, so you can get it for cheaper than that. You can save yourself a decent whack of cash. With anything like this, anything garage gym, anything home recovery, once you've got the thing, you can use it. And I think often the biggest hurdle people get over is parting with the money. Now, I've been ice bathing for a couple of years now. I've just started the home sauna and I'm really pleased that I've got them. Yes, it was a chunk of money to lay out in the first place. It's an introduction into the home sauna game. You can get some really nice spec'd out kind of proper built units for a couple of grand, but for less than £1,000 for a fully operational sauna, steam unit, ice bath with chiller, that I feel like is good value for money. This has been my upgraded setup. I started just with the basic ice bath to make sure that I would use it and would get my money's worth. So if you're unsure about getting the Ultimate Recovery bundle, maybe start there, or just run yourself a cold bath and get in it and see how you feel. Thanks everyone for taking the time to watch this review. Again, if you found it useful, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. I hope you enjoyed the video today. That's all from me. See ya!
Sitting on leather, steering wheel shine, rims gleaming like the sun, looking so fine, got the 12s in the back, bass ripping the beat, the whole block know when I roll down the street, grill looking icy, headlights so bright, windows down, ride smooth, feeling alright, loud pipes, humming like a beast in the night, country chrome style, keep it slick, keep it tight, I got stacks in my pocket, dreams in my head, rolling with the fam, yeah we on the uptrend, from the mud to the top, now the shine never ends.